Is Boo Carter doing enough to get back on the football field? And who is going to be the starting quarterback at Tennessee? What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a stat mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football. We talk football year round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Who do you think is going to be the starting quarterback for Tennessee in 2025? I think that it's fairly obvious to most of us, but let's not take it for granted, especially given what the scrimmages on Friday or Saturday may or may not have yielded. I think for most people, the leader in the clubhouse is Joey Aguilar, who played last season at Appalachian State. And frankly, his 2023 was better than his 2024, but he's still pretty damn good. Transferred to UCLA and then went back into the transfer portal after it was clear that Nico Iamaleava was transferring from Tennessee to UCLA. Okay, why did Nico Iamaleava transfer from Tennessee to UCLA? If you've been living underneath that particular rock, congratulations. I hope it was cool down there. I hope you had a chance to recharge, because I'm not going to give you that backstory. I'm simply going to say that Tennessee looked at Joey Aguilar and said, we need a quarterback. Here's a capable guy who's played Group of 5 football, Group of 6 football, and was preparing to play for a Power 4 school in the second most important league in the country. Let's bring him to Knoxville and see what he can do, because we're not sure that George McIntyre or Jake Mecklinger are the guys to get it done in 2025. And really what you're looking for is a bridge to phase on. You're looking for a bridge to the number one player in the 2026 class that might be able to start for you next year, if not 2027. Joey Aguilar satisfies that. And frankly, so does George McIntyre or Jake Mecklinger. But I think if you're talking about a guy who's got experience, who knows from what it is expected of the quarterback, and might actually allow you to do a little bit more with the offense, it's Joey Aguilar, right? The thing that I believe many Tennessee fans want most folks to understand about the 2024 team is that it was Dylan Sampson who was the engine that powered that offense, and an outstanding defensive line, secondary, did most of the work that was left, right? Jamar McCoy being held out makes a lot of sense. He's one of the best players in the country. Certainly, for me, the best player at Tennessee right now. You need to know what Chris Braswell is capable of. You need to know what Mike Matthews is capable of. You need your offensive line to gel, and you need Deshaun Bishop and Star Thomas et al. To figure out who's RB1. I think it's Deshaun Bishop, because I look at that dude and I see the story and I see the work ethic. He fits everything that Josh Hypel wants in a Tennessee Volunteer, which is to say Nico Iamaleava did not. Another guy that is kind of like working his way back, but I believe has tremendous upside, Boo Carter. That is a freshman All-American. That is all SEC freshman. That is 6th in tackles last year with 38. I believe that dude has the capacity to play both ways if you want him to, but it's about where his head is. And right now, that is what Josh Hypel and his leadership council are trying to suss out. Back in June, we weren't clear that Boo Carter was even going to be a Tennessee Volunteer. There have been some absences. There had been some team violations that led many to believe he might not be allowed to rejoin the team, which would be a tremendous loss for them, and it would suck for Boo Carter. But last month, Josh Hypel put that to bed and has since said, hey, look, he's practicing, but is he working his way back on the field? We'll see, right? I think if he continues to progress, we'll probably see him in week 1. I also applaud Hypel and that staff for knowing the difference between a guy that just needs another shot and a guy that you need to get out of here. A bad apple versus a guy that really is still green and has an opportunity to turn into one of the better players in the sport, let alone on that defense. I think Boo Carter, Jamar McCoy could be one half of a really great secondary. You need to develop on the defensive line just a little bit more, but you're going to be okay. You were able to rotate 5 and 6 and 7 guys last year. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that this year. But back to the offense. If Joey Aguilar can push the football down the field and doesn't need max protection to do it, you're already a step ahead of a team last year that needed to do just that offensively, but still made the college football playoff. One of the things that held Tennessee back was, as we got deeper into the season, Nico Iamaleava could do less as a passer So you really did need Dylan Sampson to rush for as many yards as he did, leading the SEC and becoming SEC Offensive Player of the Year at a time when Tennessee didn't even play in the conference championship game. If you get a 3,000-yard passer out of Joey Aguilar and a guy that throws 28, 30 TDs, I think you're already way ahead. What I don't know is, are you going to be as good as you were on the offensive line? And is Deshaun Bishop going to be as good as Dylan Sampson? I don't think he has to be, but having 1,000-yard rusher is what that program has been able to do since Hypel got there. And I think last year was really the best coaching year that I've seen from Hypel. He had to really dial it back in the playbook. He couldn't go up tempo. They couldn't run their vertical routes. They couldn't take the top off the defense like they wanted to. They had to grind people into the ground in many cases, and it came up to bite them against Arkansas, for instance. I think the game against Oklahoma, they won, but it exposed some deficiencies, especially in the second half. I think about the Alabama game and what that one means and how it's really going to be head up this year. Josh Heupel and Kalen DeBoer, I think, are on the same trajectory in as far as what they need. But if you are Josh Heupel, you get to say, I made the college football playoff in the SEC before this guy who hadn't, lost more than 12 games before he got to the SEC, and then slowly finds out just what it means to play in this league. The same thing that people wanted to say about Oklahoma or did say about Oklahoma, I think is true about Kalen DeBoer at Alabama. Difference is one guy won 9 games and one guy went 6-7. Also, the difference is Alabama's been a part of the SEC since forever, and they've got these 6 national championships since 2009, if you ain't heard about it. But I do think this is a prove-it year for him, and I think this is a rising year for Josh Heupel, where they're both basically at the same level. Both guys have made the college football playoff, one in the 14 format and one in the 12-team format. But as Ohio State fans want to point out, Tennessee didn't acquit themselves very well in their first appearance in the college football playoffs. Matter of fact, it looked a lot like 2019 LSU versus Oklahoma. It was not pretty, especially as we had lots of Tennessee fans that were talking about really showing up to the shoe in orange and taking over. Now, I understand you feeling some kind of way because you saw a mediocre Michigan team go and beat Ohio State, but it turns out that's Michigan and you're Tennessee, right? That's what it comes down to. In as far as who I think is going to be the starting quarterback, I would be shocked. I would be shocked to find out that anybody other than Joey Aguilar is going to start week 1. I don't think that the name, image, and likeness deal is giving him at 7 figures. If you think that's going to be the case, I think his experience is going to show up, and I think he's going to win the trust of Joey Hazel and Josh Heupel quickly if he hasn't already. The thing that he needed to work on, and frankly put him behind the 8 ball, is he didn't get spring ball with Tennessee. This is all the ball he's getting, so he's going to have to pick it up and put it down very quickly. And if you're George McIntyre, Jake Mecklinger, this was the time. This is the moment. You need to show right here, right now, that you should be the guy and what that might look like in scrimmages, Friday, Saturday. And then a couple weeks from now, we're playing college football. And I don't think that we're going to see more than one quarterback at Tennessee unless there's an injury. So if you can separate, go make a play. Boo Cartert, keep working your way back. Jamar McCoy, stay healthy. Chris Baswell, show me that you can be wide receiver 1. And then let's take a look at what Tennessee is capable of doing. Let's see where they are when it comes time to play Alabama and who gets to light the cigar.